Yo, what's up YouTube? It's your boy Damonte bringing you a banger. Don't forget to follow on my Twitch, please. This is where we have daily content. So I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of the game Crime Boss, which is coming out on June 18th, and with its release coming soon, here's 10 things that you guys need to know about Crime Boss Rockay City from a player who bought it on Epic Games well over a year ago. And I'd also like to mention that I'm a player who has played Payday 2 for over 14,000 hours. I've played Payday the Heist, and I've also played Payday 3. So I feel my opinion may be, important for some of you viewers. But with that being said, here's 10 things you need to know about Crime Boss Rockay City before its Steam release. First things first, Crime Boss Rockay City is trying to redefine the genre of heisting games. There's nothing really like how Crime Boss approaches its story mode of a roguelike campaign, with its strategic style of gameplay, asset managing, player managing, your team managing, your boss managing, with other dozens of different jobs with, your side jobs and your main jobs, with various different options to get through these jobs as well. And I do want to point out, there's no shortened of opportunities during your pursuits here. Each and every one of the missions that you will go through and try to complete in the single player campaign will effectively be part of the main story, which is Baker taking over Rockay City. Well, this time there's a cutscene.
I was just a kid. First time I got popped. It was for stealing candy, funny enough. Since then, me and fucking cops, well, we don't get along so good. But in order to dodge Johnny Law, you gotta think like Johnny Law. Enter ex-cop by the name of Gloves. Clean hands, cop's brain, has some really bad habits.
The next part that we want to focus on is that choices can make you or break you inside Crime Boss. In the single player's campaign specifically, your goal is to become like the kingpin leader, king of Rockay City. But along the way, you must, get yourself through certain, opportunities and possibly new characters or a big job that you have to go through. And these things can either hinder you or they can really help you during this. So there's some different examples, but here was a really good one. You may win some money from a, major mission, one of the more larger missions, but then in return, you'll have to give up all that money to the rival gang leader so that they will, leave your gang alone and leave the city, clearing, a whole territory for your team to take over. Other times I've seen that it'll be where two of my lower level teammates will go and try and rob a store as an example, and then they'll get caught. And then one of the options that you get is to either go and try and break them out, as the example would be that you show up with, Baker and try and free your teammates, or you just let them get arrested. And obviously if you let them get arrested, that can be really, detrimental to the investigation. So you've got a lot of choices here, and trying to save them also could lead to Baker getting killed, and that will fail the whole campaign. There's a lot of choices. Now, fighting the enemy gangs and taking over turfs really isn't the only thing to be worried about. You also need to be worried about the investigation, which is Sheriff Norris, who is tasked to try and take back Rockay City from the various different gangs trying to take it over. He starts out with trying to take out Baker, which is arguably the weakest one to start out with, but then by the end, you become one of the most powerful ones in the city. But as you start to take over more turfs and you complete more of your side missions and the bigger jobs, the police will become more aggressive and they'll show up much more quickly. If you're going loud, that is. And the result of that is because each day, your investigation progress will keep going up and up until Sheriff Norris himself will show up to the scene. Now there is a few ways to actually slow down his investigation, which will be necessary on the higher difficulties. You can bribe police, you can kill detectives that are scattered amongst the map, you can free your arrested crew members before they get questioned and pretty much squeal to the cops. And after that, then you can stop Sheriff Norris from even showing up.
Yeah.
Yes, hello?
Listen, Nasara gave me your digits.
Oh, you want the skinny on the zangs, eh? I can give you some real juicy stuff. Is my price cool?
If it's juicy, yeah, we got a deal.
So juicy, it's dripping. I'll swing by in the next couple of days.
Uh-oh. Who's that?
Hey boss, the songbird is here.
Mr. Baker. Name's Katie. Clients call me Silver.
Oh, what the hell?
We
She ain't
spoke on the
juicy.
phone regarding the Zhang family.
So the silver bird, huh? You got that juicy lowdown for me?
Yeah, for sure. In a nutshell, the Zhangs are an extraordinarily wealthy family. Most of that dough comes from their dealings with the triads. The Zhangs are now jumping ship, moving their fortune to Rockay City. The most precious items they've got? A pair of huge jade statues.
I'm
Known
really
in ancient folklore as the Dragon Dogs. A Mongolian legend says the power in these dragon dogs helped Genghis Khan conquer the world. To the right person, they're bloody priceless.
Well, fucking A. Where's this shipment's final destination?
More than likely a vault. Here, in Rockay. I know where to find the shipping details. Final location. I can even get you photos of the treasure.
Proof these jade mutts are the real deal?
Yeah, for sure, Mr. Baker. But, cash up front, eh?
Nope. Fuck this bitch.
Yeah, go fetch.
Oh, I'll keep Nasara posted on where I'm at.
You're on, Silverbird. You'll hear from me in the next 3 days.
Good. Just know, in 3 days, I'm leaving town. No refunds, so don't slouch. I'll see myself out. Gentlemen.
She just scammed us then. I'll speak to you in the next 3 days.
Well,
Okay, in 3
dragon
days I won't
dogs
be here.
And fucking Genghis Khan, huh?
It appears we have ourselves a target.
The fucking fool. We'll strip him out of that bullshit fantasy and snatch those puppies from right under his snout.
Say the word, Silver swoops in.
So from my experiences playing Crime Boss, I feel like there's probably at least like 20 to 25 various different, crew members to choose from. Some have their own unique backstories actually, like a ranger or cracker, different people that are, variously put into a quest. But then some of the other ones are just kind of your miscellaneous characters that do fill a quite, positive role on your team. Now I do want to mention that there are 3 Heister classes. One is the Merc, which is specialized mostly in combat and dealing big portions of damage. The next one is called Thief, which is better for infiltrating and trying to stay in stealth basically. And then the last is Brute, which is allowing you to take larger amounts of damage while you're trying to cover yourself, or your team actually, into cover or trying to leave the map. But that is notable that there is 3 different types of Heister classes. And as I touched on just a moment ago, there's like legends that are also around, which as I mentioned, people like Ranger or Cracker, which generally bring their own weapons and their own unique skills and health pools, or you get the picture. Now, what this usually, once again, is represented by are their own missions. They generally have to be, you take them through, as Cracker would be, you're in like the snow area fighting like soldiers. I'm not really sure what the whole lore is there, but then like as the example would be for Ranger, he's like in the jungle, fighting people, presumably in Vietnam, I'm not too sure, but you get the point. Each character that's a special character essentially will have its own mission tied to them, which is really interesting. Gives you more of a backstory. And one thing I didn't know when I originally played is that each job will actually, require different skills, obviously. So when you choose the characters to play with, make sure you choose the ones that are more according to that playstyle. Let's talk about the stealth game mode now. Most jobs can actually be completely, completed inside stealth. Now from my experience, there's only like a few ones that aren't like hidden vault or something. But for the most part, most maps you can complete in full stealth, which essentially keeps, everything better. This makes a slower investigation speed. It also has a higher return item on your stolen goods because they're not like plastered all over the news, obviously. Just make sure when you're doing stealth, you want to select the crew members that are better for your stealth stuff. As we just mentioned in the skills, some people actually will get, seen and won't have like suppressed weapons or things like this, and those aren't the people that you're going to want to bring into that mission. So when you're doing stealth, just make sure you keep your eyes on the guards, any form of cameras you can see. Don't be, too noisy. Make sure the civilians aren't really watching you either. Be mindful not to, draw too much attention when running around. The game does have an awareness system, a different mechanic than you would find inside the Payday games. You have 3 strikes and you're out sort of system, and some of these things are basically like trespassing, picking locks, doing anything suspicious like running around or crouching in an area that you shouldn't be. You get the point. But the game gives you a 3-strike system for these awareness system, so keep that in mind. So when being sneaky fails, sometimes you just gotta be prepared to fight, and police in this game, depending on your investigation, are very quick to respond. So depending on where you're standing at inside controlling the city can really be the difference maker of really armored cops and the heavy units showing up immediately. But we'll get on that in just a minute. So when you do take a mission that's approached inside the Loud, make sure you get people that have the right guns and bring people with the right gear that may have enough, HP or have grenades, you get the picture. And you don't really want to be too spread. You really want to keep close to your team. The quicker you guys separate, the easier you guys will be picked off one by one. If you guys stay in cover and move as a unit, everything will move smoothly. So if you as a team will bring, various different items. Maybe one guy can bring, a C4. Maybe someone can use like a berserker boost. Maybe someone can use the temporary damage, reduction. Maybe someone bring the cluster nades. You get the picture here. If you don't just bring, the same gear, you guys can all have a really effective way of playing. So as mentioned, there's other gangs that are trying to take over Rockay City as well. So get ready to attack territories, and you'll also have to defend your own territories. You'll have to hire soldiers to attack turfs. You'll have to hire soldiers to defend turfs. Touchdown will also, which is one of the characters, he will also be part of any defense that you need to defend any of your gang territories. And you can always upgrade your soldiers with cash so that they can have better weaponry and be able to, beat the opposition. Now the fun part about Crime Boss is that you're able to experience your own way. You can either play it solo, or you can dive into, multiplayer and just play with friends. Either way, there's a roguelike campaign, which is Baker's Battle, that you're only capable of doing on your own. Now, on the other side, you can join 3 various different game modes inside multiplayer. One is just you engage in normal heists and you join random people. The second one is using the shuffle feature, which gives you a randomized amount of heists, depending on which difficulty you choose as well, which will allow you to continuously be able to play and have a finale mission at the end of those heists. And then lastly, there's a game mode called Urban Legends, which is essentially a story mode that's able to be played with multiplayer. And it generally has, 4 characters to 5 characters to choose from, and those, heisters in there, you can, beat this game mode and then unlock them as a normal playable character. And then after that, if any of those don't suit you, you can always just go onto the quick play option and join into any server whatsoever, being just normal multiplayer, being shuffle, or being Urban Legends. So as you kind of play through the game and progress through the game, either it's, the single player campaign or the multiplayer mode, you still accumulate experience, which with each level gained, you gain an opportunity to choose one of 3 unlockable items. And these unlockable items can be in the range of new heisters, new weapons, new equipment, new perks, and new weapon skins. Now some of these unlockables, once again, are exclusive to the online play, And other things will also be, you know, accessible to the roguelike campaign as well. So inside Crime Boss, there is quite a bit of weapons that include melee weapons, mostly pistol secondaries. You have some SMGs, you have rifles, shotguns, and LMGs, as long as a wide array of essentially throwables, being like grenades, knives, booster shots like Berserk, or the like Kingpin injector, I'm not really sure what it's called. You have like other things like the cluster nades, sensor nades, a whole bunch of things. But other than that, you have perks that are in the game too. Things like toolkit, things like ghost, but you get the picture. Now, with all this other stuff, you are also able to purchase more rarer weapons and equipment, which will become available for you to purchase after unlocking. And this will be your extra firepower that's needed to take on these more challenging heists. Now, given that the game sees, you know, regular updates all the time, so you can always, you know, assume that your stockpile of weaponry is just going to keep expanding and expanding. Last, we have making your own boss, which inside multiplayer, you get to be able to select from a range of different bosses with different skins and different appearances to, you know, choose which person you want to be your mastermind. You get to equip yourself with any of the weapons you've bought and earned, any of the gear that you've earned, and you get to customize your weapons in what you see fit. Now keep in mind there's not much customizable options outside of skins, so let's just, you know, point that out. Now also you need to strategically choose the skills to optimize the way that you're playing, and skills in this game are your perks. I just mentioned it as skills. But also make sure that you're, you know, communicating with your teammates so that you guys both aren't just using the same setups. But then as you progress through and, you know, earn money and earn XP, that's what will just continuously give you new items in the game. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys did enjoy, please like the video, maybe subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Leave me a comment what you guys think about, you know, Crime Boss coming out, and if you guys are excited about it. If there's anything that I missed that I should have, you know, mentioned, please let me know in the comment section below, and you guys have a great day.